Okay, if you saw this job ad that said data annotation, pairwise comparison, object tagging, you might think that's not for me. But by the end of this video, you'll realize you likely already have the skills to do it. If you're over 50 or you're just new to AI Rater or data annotation work, sometimes the hardest part isn't the exam. It's getting past the techno-jargon and the technical setup between the words, the browser settings, the extensions, the profiles, the logins. It can feel a bit overwhelming. So today I'm going to demystify the major techno-jargon terms, and I will walk you through everything you actually need step by step with zero stress. Now I'm in my retirement, and most people in my age group or those just new to this type of work, we all have the reading skills, the judgment, the life experience, but we worry that we're one click away from getting disqualified. Think of it like a darkened room that's not so scary when you turn the light on. In this video, I will turn the light on by showing you the meaning of the jargon, the exact browser setup companies expect, what not to install, how to avoid getting flagged by automated checks, how to stay organized and confident. This is the digital handhold I wish someone had given me when I started. And before we start, I want you to keep one thing in mind. When I started doing AI rating work earlier this year, I didn't know what most of these terms meant. I wasn't coming from a technical background, so if some of these words sound intimidating right now, that's completely normal. Here are some essential terms. Now stay with me and feel free to save these screenshots or jot down a quick note on each to help you get familiar with them. The first three are the getting started terms. Onboarding. The orientation phase. This is where you sign your paperwork, complete NDAs, set up your tools, and learn the rules before you start working. Dashboard. The work desk. Your main screen where you see available tasks, your status, and your earnings. Vendor platform. The company you work through. This is the company you apply to, such as Tullis, Appin, Outlier, or Data Annotation. They connect workers with AI-related projects and provide the platforms where much of the work is completed. Next three are doing the work terms. Data annotation, digital labeling. You tag or label examples, like images, audio, or text, so the AI learns what things are and how humans communicate. AI Rater, Search Evaluator, Content Reviewer, they're quality control. You review the AI answers, search results, or content and grade its work to make sure it's accurate, safe, and useful. Prompt, that's the question. The user or instruction you give the AI to get a response. Okay, quick check-in. If your eyes haven't glazed over yet, you're doing great. We've already covered the hardest jargon. Now here's a few other doing the work terms you'll likely encounter. Object tagging or labeling. Naming what you see. Marking objects in an image like cars, signs, people, so the AI learns to recognize them. Pairwise comparison. Choosing a better option. You're showing two AI answers side by side and pick which one is clearer, safer, and more helpful. Guidelines. This is the rule books. The instructions you must follow to pass exams and do tasks correctly. Okay, two other terms you may be familiar with, but just to be sure, they are browser extension, the browser accessory, a small add-on that changes or adds features to your browser, like Chrome. Examples include ad blocker, coupon finder, grammar checkers, and VPN tools. And VPN, the virtual private network, the privacy tool. A VPN encrypts your internet traffic and routes it through another server. Many AI projects prohibit VPN use because they need to verify your real location. I know that's a fair amount of technical jargon at once, and after a while, the terms will become more easily understood in time. Now that you know some of the jargon, let's talk about the office, where you'll actually be using it, your web browser. This is the part that most beginners never hear about. Some companies and projects use technical checks to verify that your browser environment meets their requirements. So if they detect VPNs, ad blockers, suspicious extensions, multiple accounts mixed together, you may get flagged for review, lose access to certain tasks, or in some cases have your account restricted. A clean Chrome profile is your secret weapon. It keeps your work environment separate, simple, and compliant. And if you're not sure how to set up a clean Chrome profile, watch my step-by-step video. I'll put a link in the description. Many projects discourage unnecessary browser extensions, and some projects won't let you use certain add-ons. As a best practice, keep your work browser as clean as possible and only install extensions that are specifically required or approved. So some common extensions that can cause problems: Adblock or uBlock, Grammarly, Honey, VPN extensions. Certain browser-based password manager extensions may conflict with project requirements. Always follow the project-specific instructions. Screenshot tools, shopping extensions, anything that modifies the page. If you don't know what an extension does, remove it. Or even easier, set up a separate Chrome profile for your AI work. Now on the issue of passwords and two-factor authentication, this can be a bit of concern for some, and here are some things that may help you. Use a notebook or a paper log if that feels safer. Use Google Password Manager if you prefer digital. Keep your phone nearby for two-factor authentication. Don't overthink it. This is normal and required. You don't need to be a tech expert. You just need to follow the steps. Another concern with this work is hardware. Okay, let's address the do's and the don'ts. You don't need a gaming PC, a brand new laptop, dual monitors, a fancy keyboard, a special mouse. Now what you do need: a reasonable modern computer that runs Chrome smoothly and reliably. In many cases, a computer from the last several years is perfectly adequate. A stable internet connection, a browser that works properly, a smartphone, but you don't need it for all projects. Optional but helpful. A second monitor only if you want it, a comfortable chair, a quiet space, a mouse instead of a trackpad. Bottom line, if you're already using a computer for email, web browsing, online banking, or watching YouTube, there's a good chance it's capable of handling AI rating work, although some specialized projects may have additional requirements. Now let's get back to that job posting from the beginning of the video. Remember those phrases like data annotation, pairwise comparison, object tagging? They don't seem quite so foreign or intimidating now, do they? That's the point. Earlier, those terms may have felt like a darkened room, but once you turn the light on and understand what they actually mean, everything becomes much clearer. The goal wasn't to turn you into a technical expert today. It was simply to turn the light on. And once the light is on, those terms stop looking intimidating and start looking learnable. So if you're over 50 or just stepping into the AI remote work, you're not behind, you're just new. And new is fixable. You can do this, and I'm here to walk you through every step of the way. Don't let the techno-jargon scare you away. So if this helps, hit like, subscribe, and check out the playlist that takes you from beginner to job ready.